co-founder of Brikn. Mark has been in the construction industry, and Tom has been on a blockchain industry. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Good evening. Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm part of the building team for Brick by Brick.
Yeah, I'm Thomas Parsons, co-founder and head of DAO over at Brikn.
Well, so we got some questions here. First question goes to Thomas from Takeshi. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Community support is one of the biggest aspects of project success. Most projects have programs that interact with the users. What are your specific plans to attract or expand the community and improve the user experience? And
Sure.
does your current project take into account on the various inputs and demands of your community?
Sure. So obviously, as we have a DAO ecosystem, we're actually planning to build a DAO platform where token and NFT holders will be able to go and interact with the DAO ecosystem itself. This will include things such as the vault itself, which is obviously the hub of the rewards system of the brick by brick property portfolio, where they'll be able to stake their tokens to and NFTs to yield farm from the property portfolio and the property management company. And it's also the locking system, so they'll be able to draw down their tokens that which they've invested in the ICO. Also within the platform as well, we're obviously going to have areas for the community to socialize, create proposals for Brick by Brick Limited, vote upon proposals and the direction of the company. And within the community side of things, the social side of things of this DAO platform, we'll obviously have a support team who, because obviously there's some people in this community that wouldn't have been able to interact with the DAO before, so it will be new to them. And obviously that's part of what my job is. But although I'm not sort of in control of the DAO, because obviously there's no central entity to the DAO, I'm sort of there to help guide it and do the strategy of the DAO and structure the platform. And if they do have any questions or need some support, I'm going to be there to support them through the process. We've also got an admin team set up currently for the early stages of investment, where people can reach out to our admin team via our email admin@brikn.io and if they require any support in terms of investment or any general questions on the projects, we're always here to answer them for them. And they can reach out to us via Telegram as well. Any of the official admins within the Telegram group, they can just give us a message and we'll reply as soon as we can.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, next question from Marvin. Since we're talking about the merge between real estate and crypto, I guess that legal compliance will constitute a critical and main part of your activity. Are you partnering with well-established and legal entities for compliance?
Sure, great question, Loren. Obviously, it is a very crypto is a very regulated area, and there are a lot of legalities regarding it. And like he says, integrating real estate into that does make a few more loopholes to jump through. Also, the fact that we're having a DAO structure as well, this creates another problem, because in the UK, where our company, where Brick by Brick is based, a DAO isn't actually recognised as a legal entity. So we've reached out to a legal company called Forsters, who are based in London, and actually one of the best crypto legal firms in the whole of the UK. The founder of the company actually wrote a book on structuring DAOs. So we've got the founder of the company and his right hand man currently working on our legal and our structuring of the DAO, and they are writing out a program for us on how to structure the company legally and to hold the assets. So Brikn will actually be holding the assets themselves, so the DAO will hold the assets. It will be a Jersey purpose trust, as well as they are making an instruction for us to a regulatory lawyer as well. So we're literally going to make sure that our company is fully legal and watertight. So there's everyone's investment is fully safe, and the company as a whole is legally sound and safe as well.
Fair enough. Thank you. Question number 3 from Anu. Sorry, guys, if I'm saying it wrong. So Anu Lewa it goes to Mark. Sorry, is the current financial instability of the euro and the sterling pound going to affect the project in the purchase of the houses? What are your contingency plans against the inflation of prices of materials in case of renovation equipment purchase?
Hi, that's a great question. I think with the UK and the EU economic environment and the current global situation is affecting all industries in one way or another. However, I think this will only benefit Brikn in with house prices set to fall with up to and maybe over 10% over the next year. There seems to be more renters than homes, which will give our investors a quicker return. In the long term, we expect assets to rise in value. But with the inflation on materials, as I say, with all industries being affected, we do obviously have to adjust for that. Currently, we're purchasing materials to build approximately 30 homes at a time. We do manage to get materials slightly cheaper than trade price, but what we do here is we recycle a lot of materials. Sometimes customers change at a later date, may change kitchens or bathrooms, i.e., and we store a lot of these in our compound. So a lot of materials we do have ready um, to renovate houses at an extremely cheaper cost. We have, if you were to look in the compound at the minute, we have all kinds of materials ready to go, from paint to tiles. Funny enough, staircases, we have all kinds of materials ready to go. And with the industries and the partnerships that we have built up over time, they give us trade price as well for their labour.
Thank you so much. It was actually a very great question. So question number 4 goes to Tom from Ray Gava. Most DeFi projects, especially those ones offering yield farming, are driven up by the hype and scarcity. So when the hype dies, the project dies. What's the key to sustaining your project yield farming?
Sure, good question. Obviously, our project's not actually DeFi; it's a DAO project with it's a utility token, if you like. But obviously, the yield farming, which is taking place in the vault, is a big part of the project. With 60% of our profits going back out to the token, like evenly distributed amongst the tokens, which are staked in the vault. But you see, with traditional yield farming, it's often that you are earning a yield from lending your tokens out, so or staking your tokens, and then those tokens will then go to a lending program or a liquidity program where it's based off the value of the token, whereas our yield farming is based off real world assets. It's you're farming the yield of a property portfolio, which isn't based off of any digital assets. It's brick and mortar. it's a real world investment, real world assets. So the price of that will not fluctuate like you see with cryptocurrency. So it's a much safer investment than your traditional yield farming. Obviously, yield farming generally is quite risky, whereas yield farming from a property portfolio, I personally believe, is one of the safest investments out there. You can see for generations that has been the safest investment model in the world and has generated the most millionaires in the world. And obviously, touching on the last question as well about the current situation with the pound and the euro, obviously, and the housing market in the UK, obviously, with these house prices coming down, and it's only going to come down further by the time we launch in March. This is the perfect opportunity for Brikn to start operating and start purchasing these assets, because you're buying at a low point. And then when we are buying and when we're renovating and we're holding these properties, the value of the properties are going to increase once the market increases itself as well. So meaning that people's investments and the property portfolio value is going to increase with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And yes, the question, it was very interesting because we live in these crazy times in crypto right now, and having a solid project like Brikn helps a lot the environment. So last question from me regarding eco-friendly properties. How exactly Brikn will help on zero carbon? Tom.
I feel like Mark would be best to answer that one.
If that's okay.
Go for it, Mark.
Sorry, Henry. I'll answer that if that's okay. We're currently at the minute overseeing the build of 31 properties in the Northwest, which all require at this stage to be eco-friendly, and the whole industry is pushing towards for net carbon zero. We've obviously added things underfloor heating. We've put solar panels on roofs. We use thermal insulated block. We use thermal insulated damp. The materials these days and the materials that we put inside the cavity walls are all focused on bringing heat prices down, energy prices down, and reflect heat back inside to the house. These are all materials that, as when we buy in, these industries again are all trying to reduce their carbon footprint. So with the houses that we're building right now and the inspections that they need to pass, we are happy that here at Brikn, we are more than happy with ourselves that we are bringing it down and producing houses that require a lot less energy bills.
Thank you so much for answering. And we are open for public questions.
Yeah, please ask any questions, guys, if you have them. Obviously, the ones that have been read out so far, you are the winners of the competition, and you'll be winning $250 worth of Brikn tokens. So congratulations. If anyone does have any questions, please raise your hands. Or there are additional questions that were asked during the competition that we could answer if need be.
Hey guys, Tom, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, look, obviously there's quite a few emails from individuals that have been asking questions over the last couple of days. Appreciate, obviously, some people couldn't make the AMA just due to time differencing. So I think if we go to some of the questions from the inbox, let's answer those first, I think.
Sure. Have you got it in front of you, Lee? Could you list some out?
Yeah, so I mean, look, I'm just going to read a few. I'm not too sure how many I've already been read out or answered, but yeah, let's start with a couple I received this morning. As an investor, I see some of the crowdfunding sites like Fundraise has many properties, and I can own a fraction of a property and can invest as little as $100. Also, there are other real estate blockchains. So, what makes your project so special? Have we covered this one? Because I've pretty much got the answer for that one. If not,
Please go ahead, mate.
I mean, look, we're not like other projects, and what you need to remember is there are other property blockchain projects out there, but they're fractionalizing single real estate. So you're only getting income from one property, whereas what we are doing, we're the first property DAO that is rewarding its members in USDT from an entire property portfolio. So we're not tokenizing a single property, which at the moment is causing issues, via security tokens. One of the reasons we stayed away from it. We're more looking at like a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust, which is on the blockchain, but obviously it gives a lot more transparency than other models, because you can see exactly what we're purchasing, and also you guys have a lot more control because we will give you the choices of what properties that we have access to, and it'll be down to the DAO members to help us make the decision on which one to purchase, and also what model to adopt, whether it's a single let where we target minimum 10%, or maybe we turn it into service accommodation where some of the returns can be 100% plus, or even, house of multiple occupancy, where we turn every single room into a bedroom, utilize all the space, and the yields there are typically anywhere between 20 and 30% per annum. So that's how we're different. We're not trying to tokenize single properties and give people rewards from one property. We're giving individuals, rewards from an entire property ecosystem, and every single 6 months, those rewards should increase because we can buy, refurbish, remortgage. We'll pull the initial capital out, leverage that capital, it increases our yield, and then we can use the same capital we purchased that property for to go and buy another one. And then 6 months, we can do it again and again and again. And also there's a certain amount of tokens for the ecosystem, which will allow us to liquidate some tokens anywhere between 6 months and 4 years down the line. Again, these are for specific developments, land opportunities, and big builds, where we're talking about big numbers, 1 or 2, 3 million projects as a development. But again, we'll be looking at 30 to 40% profits on top, which then get distributed towards the Brikn members. So that's pretty much Q1 for Mohammed. I think this one could be good for Tom. Can you share some more details regarding the NFT and how would they work throughout the process, and what is the property, and what if the property was sold?
Absolutely. So the first NFT release that we're doing is obviously the Goldmine NFT. We're doing a 250 airdrop for the first 250 people to invest $1,000 or more, and then later down the line we will then do a resale of these NFTs and do a larger release, and they'll be worth $2,000 upon release. This NFT basically gives you full governance over the project. So every single property which we have, you'll basically be able to govern that. We're considering of doing it this way. Obviously, the voting system that we're going to be implementing within the DAO is still up to speculation a little bit. We're still deciding this, obviously, as the DAO platform hasn't been created yet. But one thing that we're considering doing with the Goldmine NFT is the people that hold the NFTs are the ones that can create the proposals. So the NFTs lets you create the proposals, and then the token allows you to vote on the proposals. Alongside the governance, we are also offering a yield farm through the NFTs. So basically, if you hold an NFT and you stake it in the vault, you'll be able to yield farm profits from the property management company. So obviously we've got the property portfolio, and then the property management company, which is managing all of the properties and the tenants within the properties. And any profits made from this, 50% will be distributed amongst NFT holders. As well as the Goldmine NFT, we're going to do future releases of each individual property. So if you wanted to have governance and correct proposals for one of the properties that you like, say for example, you fall in love with one of the real estates that we're purchasing, or you love the idea behind what we're trying to build on a piece of land, or etc. etc. You can buy an individual NFT for that asset itself, allowing you to have governance over it. And again, you'll be able to yield from the property management company that property is generated, the profit that property is generating.
Okay, perfect. Another question is, how many properties does the company currently own or manage right now, and how many properties are predicted the company will own by launch time? I mean, look, the management team own a variety of different rent and service accommodations. Obviously, Mark, as he's already said, is already delivering a number of homes in Liverpool. Brick by brick, and the DAO is yet to purchase. We do have a number of sources, some of the largest ones within the UK, who feed us below market value deals every single day. So we're not short of stock. We target, like I said, 10% yields minimum from single lets, 20% plus from HMOs, and we're looking 15 to 30% below market value to purchase. Once we are ready to do so, nearer the launch, we estimate we'll start purchasing properties in December. This could move forward into January because the market is quite slow at the moment in regards to raising, just crypto wise. But essentially, look, if it really depends how much is raised, but also where we purchase, because we can get properties in Liverpool between 50, 60k, Peterborough between 100 and 150 for HMOs. Obviously, London's a lot more expensive. Wales pretty cheap. Scotland's 40, 50, 60k. So it's hard to put an amount of properties, but essentially we'll be using 5-6 million purely for properties, either buying and flipping, single lets, HMOs, and rent and service accommodation. But obviously, as time goes on, you guys will be notified, and also there will be newsletters coming out pretty much every couple of weeks, just showing you guys exactly what we're being offered. So it gives you guys a kind of look into the deals that we're being offered via the property sources. We do have an in-house team, but we also outsource things as well, so we're not short of stock. Another question that was coming in is, quick, we'll read this. I was wondering if there is an opportunity for licensed real estate brokers to partner with Brikn to assist in procuring of properties in the USA. If so, please explain the requirements and how to proceed. Yeah, I mean, look, we have agents in the UK and agents overseas, Dubai, France, Spain. So obviously we're open to speaking to individuals in the USA. The first target is predominantly the UK, but then we will look to start acquiring properties in Europe and further afield. So Belinda, I would say definitely contact admin@brikn.io, and we'll be happy to obviously speak to you guys there. Is there any questions within the chat, or do you guys want me to carry on reading the email questions?
I have a question.
I believe Annalou asked a question.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My question: when you are renting the housing for those who want to move in, are you guys going to stick on the payment of fiat, or probably they can pay with Ethereum, Bitcoin, or so?
So I guess that question is, are we going to accept crypto payments from the tenants of the properties? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool.
To be honest, it's something that hasn't been discussed. Potentially is something we could do, but essentially the UK company, I mean, if the tenant wants to pay in crypto, yeah, I think that's something we'll look at doing. Essentially, we'll look for it, but no, we're definitely open to that, and I think that's a very good question and something we're definitely going to have a team discussion with tomorrow, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. Like Lee was saying, obviously what you see as Brikn currently is just the base for what we're looking to build. We're very ambitious about what we want to achieve from Brikn. Obviously, we're not going to divulge everything at the moment because some of it won't be achievable, but there will be some that we will be able to do. So if you keep your eye on the community and look out for updates once we launch, you'll be surprised what we actually achieve.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely. And someone's just given me a quick message. I mean, just to give you an intro, a lot of you may recognize either myself or my voice or the picture. So I help structure projects at the start. So I've been involved in a couple of very successful projects, some of which you probably already know or maybe invested into. So I've known Tom for quite some time, and even Mark and some of the other team members. And I was brought in to actually help structure the initial token offering, as I have done with some of the other projects, just in case individuals are wondering who I am.
Yeah, Liam's been helping with the business development side of things, like he was saying, and also he's got some great real estate experience as well. So he's an asset to the team.
Yeah, perfect. Few quick questions. What are the strongest benefits of the project that you think will lead your team to a better market? That one's pretty much easy. I mean, just look at our team. I don't know any property project out there that has a team of our stature. Mark's built close to £500 million worth of property developments of high quality with 5-star Trustpilot ratings over the last 2 decades, which speaks for itself. You got Devinder, CFO, worked with some very, very big organizations, Knight Frank being one of which, and again raised countless of millions on development projects, predominantly in London, but also in places like Sheffield. Cybersecurity is covered by Madeline Dimitri, which again one of the top cybersecurity companies within Europe, and he's been very, very helpful in regards to obviously what's been going on with Ukraine and Russia, by helping to protect their military cybersecurity, and even down to our management teams, the service accommodation. Look at Tom with his experience. Our management team is really, really what sets us apart from everybody else, I think. I think you guys will probably agree with that.
Yes, I would like to highlight it's just brilliant that you can invest in UK real estate pretty much from everywhere with Brikn. Gives you this opportunity in blockchain. It's really, really powerful.
Absolutely, and the UK has
Yeah, I
one
mean
of the
we're
strongest.
doing something different. Go on, Tom.
Sorry, Lico. And I was going to say the
No,
UK has
go on,
one of
buddy.
the. I was going to say the UK has one of the strongest housing markets in the whole of the world. So this is giving people overseas that aren't based in the UK and may not have the capital to invest in these sort of assets, the opportunity to have exposure to these sort of investments.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's really
definitely. I think that. Go on, guys.
Are there still rooms for questions? I wanted to ask on
Yeah, go on.
Go for it, Danny.
um thinking, let's say in the next 5 to 10 years, um do you guys have any plan on expanding throughout Europe so that Britain will be holding real estate and auctioning and renting all over Europe? And is it realistic in that 5 to 10 years? My question.
So, Anu, was you asking if we're looking to expand away from the UK and Europe in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So, like I covered previously, look, we're predominantly just targeting UK for this raise. However, we do have agents in Europe and further afield, so we are targeting a global market. But at the moment, we're in prime position for the UK market. The housing market is coming down, which is great news for us. And because of the cost of living, I mean, look, you need to look at this from both ways. There's going to be some fantastic opportunities for cash rich companies, because in the next year or so, due to the mortgage rates being increased, inflation being sky high, and just the cost of living being extremely high in the UK, there's going to be unfortunately certain individuals that can't afford their mortgages. So like we saw in 2008, there are going to be repossessions, and there's also going to be distressed sales or distressed sellers, which again, our sources are in constant contact with these individuals, people that are going through divorce, people who can't afford their mortgages, bereavements, people that just need to move job, any kind of distress sell. But essentially what we can do is step in, purchase the house for a price they're happy with, especially with the individuals that are about to be repossessed. And then there's already a tenant there, so we can help them out by paying their debt, purchasing the house, and then still allow them to obviously live in the house by allowing them to stay in there and rent it out. So it's a great business model and a great time for us. And that's why at the moment we're going to be targeting the UK for the next couple of years, because it's a perfect market to enter. And anyone that knows property, knows that, if you have cash, then there are very, very good opportunities. And we're very, very lucky that we have a very good network. I was personally trained by Tom Watt Progressive Property, and also personally mentored by Paul Preston. So they have the two biggest property networks within the UK. And through that, we have some fantastic sources and thousands of individuals that present deals on an online network. So we're extremely lucky for that. And we will be branching off into Europe and other stages as time goes on. I hope that answers your question, Anu.
Yeah, thanks so much.
No worries. Tom, are you still?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump off. I've got a meeting. It was meant to be 5 minutes ago, but I'm gonna have to leave you. So thank you for your time, guys. It's been great talking to you, and I'll see you soon.
Lovely. I'll try and I'll just answer what I can, and then we'll catch up afterwards, buddy.
All right, thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Perfect. So I'm just going to run through these questions quickly, and if anyone else has any more, then they can obviously ask right at the end. Listing on the right exchanges, especially major exchanges, helps to increase a token price and is a form of marketing. Where can we buy a token, and what plans do you have for listing on major DEX and CEX? Look, I'm already part of other projects where we've been accepted for seven or eight exchanges. Bitsmart, Binance US, there's some tier one projects there. We've already been approached by OKX. We have connections with Gate.io, Qcoin, list goes on. So we'll be looking to list on maybe 2 or 3 tier 2, maybe tier 1s. When we look to list, we'll gain some momentum and some trading volume, and then we'll look to list on one of the big exchanges to really look to explode the price, which I think is obviously a good model to adopt, and I'm sure you guys would agree. Next question is, how does project increase the token's value, liquidity, and utility? So that it can lead to an increase in token price? What is your plan to make your project stable and provide a highest return for investors in the long term? Look, the model is amazing. No one's doing this, and like I said, every 6 months the income and the rewards will increase, because we'll be buying more properties, we'll be doing new developments via the ecosystem drawdown, and also you've got the buy, refurbish, and remortgage strategy, which allows us to leverage the current properties once the mortgage rates are favorable. And it means that we're constantly increasing our value of our portfolio, but also increasing the value of the returns that are on offer. So I hope that answers your question. There are a number of individuals that are asking questions. So before I go into more of these, Hemley, do you have any more questions, or does anyone else have any more questions, or are you pretty much happy for me to reel off the rest of the questions on the emails?
We have no questions anymore, and yes, pretty much open.
Perfect.
On the phone. Someone's using sorry.
Okay, on your website. Oh, great. On your website, you don't.
Yeah, Laurent
Is someone about to ask
on
a
the chat.
question?
I was I was
Any
requesting
questions?
someone is raising their hand to speak in the chat. Sorry.
Lauren wants to speak. Go on, Lauren. I've allowed you to speak if you want to ask a question. If not, I'll continue to read out some of the questions on emails.
You hear me? Ouais. Ah oui, okay. Thank you. I just have a question. I don't know if someone asked this already. I would like to know if you know other projects in a similar field, and what's the difference? What's your what is better in Brikn than if there are other projects in the real estate field?
Yeah, great question. And again, easy answer. I mean, are there property DAOs? Yes. Is there a property DAO that's rewarding its members monthly in USDT? No. So we're the very first to do that. And also, like I said, we're not tokenizing a single property, which also causes issues with security tokens. Being classed as a security token, we're essentially acting like a REIT, but a more transparent REIT. So we're giving the rewards from an entire property portfolio, not just one property. So we're the first to do this. I'm sure there'll be other people that will jump on the bandwagon, but essentially we are the very first. I think with the team and the way the market is, we're in poised position to really make some waves in the market in Q1, Q2 of next year. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you very much.
No worries. On your website, you don't mention that you have done an internal or external audit of your smart contract. So can you give us details? Have you done an audit before? So our smart contract, because of how complex it is and it has to link into the vault, Decube are designing and developing the smart contract as we speak. Again, anybody that knows some of the other projects that we've dealt with, we're going to be using exactly the same audits: Solidity Finance and Certic. Our other projects that have been audited have been given the gold star and the gold badge by Certic and by the KYC. So we're going to be following exactly the same route. Once the smart contract is developed, everyone will be informed. But essentially, the audit will be carried out by Certic and Solidity Finance. Next question. Considering that you have a large number of opponents, can you share with us a few killing features make you superior? Kind of similar to what I've answered previously. We are the first doing what we've done, and there's not a large number of opponents. Show me one property DAO that is giving returns from an entire property portfolio in USDT monthly that has the team and the partners that we have. I can't think of any, to be fair. But if someone can email us and let us know, then yeah, let us know. Security is a weakness of any project. Anytime hackers can attack and create huge losses for users. Yeah, so look, we use obviously Cyber Smart Security and Madeline, one of the top cybersecurity companies in the UK. I know Madeline very, very well from our other projects. Again, they do penetration tests, audits, smart contract audits, platform audits, and they attempt to hack your platform. So again, look, we're using military grade cyber security to protect our smart contract, but also to protect our platform. So there's going to be no issues with any kind of hacks. We also use a Nexo corporate account for funds to be held in, which has a $380 million insurance policy, again, to protect from hacks. So security is utmost importance. And that's why we employ the people we do, to ensure that we're safe, but also our investors and token holders are safe. Non-crypto users are very important for mainstream adoption. How are you planning to attract non-crypto users towards your project? I think that the market's so big at the moment, we don't really need a non-crypto adopters. But however, like I said, we are part of things like Progressive Property and some property networks. So essentially that we have access to tens of thousands of people that wouldn't have necessarily had access to crypto, but they have a keen interest in property. And where we're mixing the two, we think that it could be of great interest to them. So I'm hoping that kind of answers that question. I'm literally coming up to the last few now. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to jump in. No, okay. I've invested in so many projects, made a lot of promises about accomplishing them. They tend to be based on survival of the project, solely on price movement, etc., etc. I think you just worried essentially about how can you ensure us holding tokens long term, and you're right about pump and dumps. I mean, look, the whole team is visible. You've got links on LinkedIn. There's going to be videos coming out on YouTube. The company is a UK registered company, so I think you'd have to be pretty stupid for a kind of rug pull to put your face all over it with a registered company. Also, Decubate and the smart contract audits kind of eliminate that. And in regards to dumping, there's going to be a 24-month vesting schedule. Individuals can draw down 4.17% monthly if they wish. But again, if you draw down your tokens and take them out of the vault, then those tokens that you take out of the vault won't be getting the rewards, which is good news for the other individuals that are staking, because it means their rewards are going to be a lot higher. So I think that's what's going to tempt people and incentivize people to hold the token, is because they're getting monthly rewards in USDT. You can compound those those rewards by going buying more tokens, or again looking at liquidating them. So I hope that obviously makes sense for the individual that asked that question. And it was a really, really good question. Just having a quick little scan. I think we've answered a few of these questions already. Yeah, I'm literally on the last one now, I think, which was actually from, there's a few from Lauren here. I'm not too sure how many have been answered. I think that the first one about the raise has already been answered. Lots of incentives. Yeah, I think a lot of these have been answered. So look, I hope everyone has found the AMA informative. We will be doing another one in the next couple of weeks. There's some very, very big updates coming up shortly, with launch pads that we have been accepted with for December and January. For launch pads we've been accepted with in the public sale. And also a couple of exchanges and IEOs that Tom has been speaking with due to some of his networking. So there's some very, very big things happening. And we're looking forward to informing the DAO members and the community very, very soon. So if that's it, if there's any more questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. If not, we'll obviously see you guys next time.
Any questions?
Yeah, can I just say thank you, Lee? Thank you for that. And I would like to say, I'd like to touch again
Yeah,
that we
a
are
bit
extremely
abstract.
transparent.
Do we
If
plan on
anyone does want to
having a
message and get in
Twitter
touch, then we are
space anytime
available
soon?
to speak to
Or we're
at any
going back
time,
to Telegram?
either through the chat but through the proper channels.
Sorry, Mark, you just got cut off slightly. Then I think Anu and one of the other chaps just tried to speak at the same time. I have muted him. Do you want to just repeat what you said, please, mate?
I just wanted to, touch again on how transparent we are. And if anyone does actually want to contact us or message us or have any further questions, either for myself, Tom, then I'm certainly on the building side. That's my division. Then we're more than happy to answer and available, certainly either through Telegram or through the website.
Definitely, yeah. We're like I said, and it's one of the benefits. We're all completely open. There's been a few Zoom calls with a couple of VCs anyway, I know one of the individuals that are looking for the seed investment is listening now, and a video call has been offered to that individual. But yeah, essentially we're completely open. Just make sure that you are messaging us directly. We will never ever message anyone in the community directly. If someone does, please alert us, because it is a scam. And best thing is just to stay aware. Anu, I'm just gonna unmute you, so if you want to ask your last question.
Okay, I dropped it on the chat, but let me see. Are there any plans on having Twitter Space? Probably, because I believe could get more new members in on the Twitter Space.
So I know it's a really, really bad line, buddy. You keep cutting in and cutting out, so I'm having trouble hearing the sentence.
Okay, sorry. I asked, do you plan on having Twitter Space so new members could like all on a space and we get to know about the project?
Your line is terrible. But I'm assuming it's just, yeah. I mean, I'm assuming it's about marketing and bringing people in. I mean, look, we spent quite a bit of marketing at the moment, but the market itself is quite quiet. The buying pressure is pretty much zero, and it's why a lot of companies and a lot of projects are delaying listing, because obviously what's happened with the whole Binance FTX thing as well is caused a massive rift, as everybody's seen. But it's fun times, but there's always peaks and troughs, and it obviously creates opportunities for individuals that are still in profit or holding cash. And I think it's a great opportunity to purchase Brikn, and even to purchase some other tokens. But essentially, yeah, we're still going to continue with the YouTube interviews. We've got some AMAs planned, as well as some pin and post with some large Telegram communities, and we've got some PR that's going to be going out shortly as well. And essentially, yeah, there's lots of launch pads, so there's going to be lots of new members within the community, and lots of new investors. I hope that answers your question, Anu.
Yeah, thanks for the answer.
No worries, buddy. Well, look, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to drop it in the chat or to send us an email to admin@brikn.io. We'll be doing it again in a couple of weeks. I thank everyone for obviously listening in. Emily, thanks for covering and hosting, and obviously Mark and the rest of the team for attending. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. Cheers, Emily.
Thank you so much, guys.
Goodbye, thanks.